Catch up on all the live shows right here on africatechradio.com.
And welcome to Africa Tech Radio. My name is Lillian, and I'm so glad that you're listening to me right now. I mean, you're listening to Africa Tech Radio. I mean, it's not all about me. Stop it. Okay, so of course you're listening to Tech Untapped, and my name is Lillian. And today we have a beautiful topic as always. I mean, do we ever not have good topics for you? You see, virtual assistants are simply your personal assistants, but online, like in forms of applications, software, and maybe websites, And that's what we're going to be talking about today. A friend told me yesterday that, Lillian, I didn't even know that I could use Google Assistant to automate tasks like alarm, bedtime schedule, amongst others. And I laughed. I really did laugh because the moment I get any device, I go through it like a novel. I will tell you where everything is. And if I can't remember, at least I know that the feature is in that device. If I get a new phone, I spend the next week scrolling through, checking every sub setting in every setting, opening every app that came with the phone, every single thing. And I do the same for laptops too. That is why I know a lot of things, If I cannot tell you where that feature is because I'm not a computer, I will tell you that feature is there. So I'll use Google, or I'll just search in the settings and I'll find it. Maybe that's why my dad would always tease me about knowing where his properties were, because I'd always find it to say, I'm looking for my glasses. Lillian, where are my glasses? And I'll be like, why are you asking me? You say, because go and collect my glasses from my room, bring it outside. I don't know where it is. And I'll get there and I'll bring it out. Because if I'm in his room, my eyes are just wandering and registering where everything is. I think it is a gift. I think. Well, I have come to the realization that there are not a lot of people like me. It's okay. It means that I can help you out. Don't worry, I don't mind. So, there are lots of devices, applications, and softwares and websites that are designed to make our lives easier, even if it looks, hard at first glance. When I got into the uni to study mass communication, I took an editing course. Now, before I got in, I had a laptop, even though it was what we called packed-away. But, I mean, that laptop should have been in the trash. Anyway, I took that laptop to school, and what did I see? We were taught the cut and join method. Hold on, I'll tell you what cut and join method is. That means that we were taught how to trim an audio. Amazing, right? Calm down. We were taught to trim an audio by literally cutting the cassette tapes. Like taking a scissors or a blade and cutting the tape and joining it with a sellotape. It was a really funny time. I remember asking the lecturer then, I said, "Sir, there are softwares for this. Why are we still learning tapes? Have you seen a cassette tape recently? Why are we learning all these things?" And he just, snubbed me and continued his lecture. So I just sat there and was learning about how when you put the sellotape on, after you have to find out where you want to cut. It is really tricky. Then you'd cut it out and join the two tapes together. Then use a sellotape, to gum them together. And when you're done, you use powder so that it will not stick to the other parts of the device. It was really crazy, but I could actually edit on my laptop, which is actually a bad one. But at least it edited for me. We don't live in the past anymore. So why are we still living in the past? You can move forward with the times, and that is why I would be talking about how you can utilize your personal virtual assistant effectively. So I'm going to give you some steps to utilize your personal virtual assistant effectively. So you have to know that, first of all, you have to set up your virtual assistant and customize it to suit your needs. It is pretty simple. On Android, what you should do is, you see the bottom corners for all gesture, navigation, back, home, and stuff. It depends on how your navigation buttons are. Mine is a swipe navigation button, while for others it's a button icon. So either you swipe up and hold, or you just touch and hold the home button for on your Android, whichever it is. Okay, for Google Assistant, you go to settings, you go to Google, you go to settings for Google apps, you go to search, and you go to assistant and voice Google Assistant. Did you get it right? I'll say it again. For your Android, I'm doing it with you right now, okay? For your Android, you go to settings and you go to Google. Samsung has put Google down, so you go to Google and then you go to settings for Google apps. Settings for Google apps. It is like the second to the last option on your phone. You click on that, and then when you open that, you click on search assistant and voice. That is one thing. Search assistant and voice. It is one option. You click on that and you see everything that you need to do to set up your Google Assistant. You see general, notifications, save search, personal results, personalization. You see Google Assistant. You click on Google Assistant and you begin the process. Okay, so you can personalize your virtual assistant by selecting preferred languages. You select music, select food, select controlling smart home devices, select your voice so that it will recognize your voice. So you can explore the features, the very many features of your virtual assistant by just navigating through the settings. Like I said, you can find it in your settings. Okay, now while you're using virtual assistant, I have to remind you that you should ensure your privacy. Okay, so when you're not in use of it, avoid sharing sensitive information with it. So on Android, you go to settings again. Let's do it together right now. Don't worry, you can listen and do it. Okay, go to settings, you go to Google and you go to settings for Google apps, go to search assistant and voice, you go to Google Assistant, which is just you go to Google Assistant and you scroll down to general. Okay, when you go to general, disable the Google Assistant by turning the slider off. So on iOS, you go to settings, Siri and search, and turn on the toggles for Hey Siri and press home for Siri. Okay, also remember to disable the voice assistant toggle on Android's accessibility settings or the keyboard shortcut toggle for Cortana in Windows 10 if necessary. Now let's move to the core of the matter. All right, that is making the most of your virtual assistant. And here are some features that this Google Assistant or whichever assistant you're using, virtual assistant you're using, will be good for. Right, first of all, this is task management. So you can use a virtual assistant to create a to-do list. You can create numerous to-do lists. You can schedule appointments. You can set reminders. You can create recurring reminders for regular activities. You can do so much on it. And I'm telling you, I keep saying that tech has made life easier. So embrace it, okay? You can also retrieve information. Instead of searching on your browser, just ask your virtual assistant for quick access to credible information, okay? You can research topics, you can research definitions, you can check calculations or conversions. You can just say, hey, Google, what is 3 by 3,000? And Google will tell you, 3 by 3,000 is la 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 la. Yeah, you can do that. Or you can use Siri. Hey Siri, or whichever virtual assistant you're using, okay? Just make sure you mention the prompts that they will tell you to mention. Talking about email and messaging, do you know that you can manage your emails and messages efficiently by composing and reading them, sending replies, searching for specific emails based on your criteria? All can be done with your virtual assistant. What about automation? You can automate repetitive tasks with voice commands to save time and increase efficiency. For instance, every morning, if, like the Yorubas would say, kanikbe. So if I was a person who, when I wake up in the morning, I like to check the weather, and the next now do is to read news or check news from some trending or some top websites, or check on codes for tech news. Or if I'm someone who likes to listen to gospel music or inspirational music or whatever, in this order, this order I'm talking about, then you can set it. Okay, you can say start with telling me what the time is. Tell me about the weather next. Then next, tell me about the trending news in the world and trending news in Nigeria. Next, you play me inspirational songs or upbeat songs or up-tempo songs. Google virtual assistant will do it for you, or whichever virtual assistant you're using. Simple as ABC. Okay, You can also set your alarm. So that task can begin with your alarm. It is called the routine, morning routine. You can have a night routine. You can have a meditation routine at a certain time. As long as you input the data there, it will come up every single time. It is amazing. I know. Also, you can integrate your applications with your virtual assistant. What do I mean? You can connect your virtual assistant with other applications and services on your phone, like your calendar, your task managers, to streamline your workflow. So you say, hey, Google, I have a meeting, or you say, add a meeting for November 30, 2067 with my great grandchild, which I'll have by then. And he'll say, and Google Assistant, your virtual assistant will do it for you. All right. You can add your task managers. You can add your music applications like Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcast. You can add anything you want to add to it. You can automate it. You can integrate it. You can connect all the applications to your virtual assistant. What about personalization? You can customize your virtual assistant settings. If you don't like the voice of the lady, you can take the voice of a guy. If you want to wake up to a male voice, and especially when you're a single Pringle, so that you have the illusion of having a man. So they'll say, hey, beauty. You can say your name is Beauty. And the guy, the male voice for the assistant will say, hey, beauty, it's time to wake up. Time is 1908. Blah, 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 blah. So you will have a little, sense of romance in your life. But when I say that you can customize a virtual assistant setting, I'm not just talking about the voice. I'm also talking about preferences, that you need to meet your specific needs. Like I said, you can set timers, alarms, and countdowns. You can get weather updates. You can get traffic information. You can ask the location of places of interest. The only thing I don't like about these virtual assistants is that I would love, especially Google, I don't know if it's working for Siri, but I love it when I'm listening to a song, I can still talk to my virtual assistant, because I always listen to music. So when we have time to discuss and say meaningful things. It's now time for me to tell you about some personal assistant apps that you can use, and they can serve you so very well. And I'll tell you what they do. Don't worry. I'm not a monster. I'm not just going to list it out for you and just let you stay there hanging. Okay. There is Amazon Alexa. If you have seen so many foreign movies, even American, whatever, you hear Alexa, play me, Alexa, play, and you're in Nigeria, you don't know it's Alexa be, because Amazon is not as popular. It's not even popular in Nigeria because we have other commerce platforms in general. But Amazon has a particular device called Amazon Fire, and they have Amazon Echo. Those are the devices that can use these apps. Okay, it is compatible to all the devices. It is a great personal assistant. Alexa is a great personal assistant, but you need those two devices I talked about. It can search the web. It can control smart home devices. It can even order your assorted. Your amalati begiri. You're going. So I'm saying these things. I'm feeling very hungry. Anyway, this is an amazing one. If you can get your hands on, I don't know if it's working in Nigeria. I don't know. I've never seen one in Nigeria, but I've seen them numerous times with my friends living abroad. One brought it back, but I never got to see whether or not it worked. There's also Bixby. This is for Samsung's personal assistant app. Now, given that Google can work on Samsung, regardless of that, Samsung has its own personal assistant app, but it is only available on Samsung devices, and not all Samsung devices can use it. Okay. Now, Bixby can search the web, download apps from Google Play, can work with other apps. It can also support smart home devices if you have Samsung's hub. All right. There's also DataBot. This one is a very average personal assistant app that works on different platforms. It has basic features. It has customization options and even a chatbot. It is not as powerful as Google Assistant or Siri, but it can tell jokes and riddles. I need to ask my virtual assistant to tell a joke. One of these days when I'm feeling down, I'll say, hey Siri, hey Google, tell me a joke and make me laugh. You hear? Why did the chicken cross the road? I'm not going to finish that. Moving on, there's Extreme Personal Voice Assistant. Now, this one is an app that can do simple tasks like Google searches, can help you take selfies. I've never explored this before. You know when you have short arms and you're trying to take a picture, but you are the shortest one in the group. And you have to now start trying to punch the button. I don't know why I'm using this accent. To punch the button that is round there, so that's a shutter button. But then you are not finding it easy. Then someone tells you, you know what, let me help you. I have longer arms. Oh, emotional damage. Why don't you use your virtual assistant? Or use a gesture. I'll talk about that one later. You can use a virtual assistant. Hey Siri, take a picture of me. Take a picture, take a selfie. And Siri will surely do that. Okay? So that even if you are, concise in heights, brief and to the point, summary. Don't mind me. I think I'm a summary too. But regardless of that, you would be able to flex among your taller peers. Now, this Extreme Personal Voice Assistant can also help you find directions and news. It focuses on privacy and deletes your data when you uninstall the app. That is beautiful in this world of data trade and selling, We also have the Google Assistant. Of course, I've told you that one before. Of course, you can access it via your settings. Then there's the Hound. Hound is a newer personal assistant app from SoundHound. It has basic features like a mortgage calculator, hotel booking. It has different features, but it is only available for people in the United States of America. And I'm sure that if you're listening to me from there, hi, how you doing? You can check this out, okay? Now, Robin, this was one of the early competitors to Siri. You can make calls, send messages, give you information about parking and traffic and more. But it's still in beta, but it's a decent option. And it's giving How I Met Your Mother vibes. Do you know Robin in How I Met Your Mother? Yeah, she was and I think she was in a broadcaster. So whoever named this is very smart. Then there is the to-do list apps. These apps helps you manage tasks, set reminders, access your calendar. They can't control smart devices yet, but they are good for organizing your day. Okay, there are so many options you can choose from. There's the to-do list, there's the tick, there's the G-tasks. Just go to your Play Store and peruse. Now, I would not leave without telling you about your calendar apps. These apps are like personal assistants for your schedule. You can add events, you can set reminders, you can see what's on your agenda. If someone says, Leon, I want to see you. When I was younger now, not to concern me because all these things, I know the check schedule. I'll just say, yes, I'll be there. Anything that comes up again, I'll just say, you know what, I'm somewhere else. Right? So for calendar apps, right, you can just check. You can tell them, let me check my schedule. All those people that are checking schedule, they're not doing anything special. Nothing is special about the schedule that they are checking. They're just doing it that selfies. Let me check they're just opening their calendar to see if there's any meeting or anything fixed there. So you can do that too. You can flex too. You can act more important than you actually are too. All right. So you can add events. You can add birthdays. You can add reminders. You can see what's on your agenda. There's so many popular calendar apps like A Calendar, there's Calendar Widget, Calendar Widget is by Home Agenda, there's Simple Calendar Pro, there's Google Calendar, there's Samsung Calendar, but I use Google Calendar because, of course, why not? I have Google accounts all over the place. Now, there's other OEM AI assistant apps. Now, some smartphones manufacturers like Huawei and I heard how they pronounce this. Xiaomi. They are developing their own AI assistant apps, okay? They may have unique features, but we don't know how much about them yet. Even Microsoft recently released a 365 Copilot, okay? They have different features in there, and I'm sure that one of them can help you get what you want. On that note, we're going to be leaving you right now. I'm sorry. I know. I love talking to you too, but I'll be back here tomorrow and I'll give you some more amazing content on Africa Tech Radio. My name is Lillian. Of course, check out our podcasts on africatechradio.com. www.africatechradio.com. You can also search Africa Tech Radio on your Google Podcast, on your Apple Podcast, and your Spotify. Okay, you find us anywhere because we are everywhere. I mean, we're Africa Tech Radio. If we're not everywhere, where are we? Yes, you can find Tony Tech Side, you can find Cruise Control, you can find Tech Untapped, you can find Back to Base, Travel, Tours and Tourism.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to catch up on all the live shows right here on africatechradio.com.